as we start things off with our winners finals match. Rosatz, of course, rocking the Valhallan border. So they've clearly been playing a lot of rank.
3, 2, 1,
I think what the requirements is for EU to get into to get the Valhallan border. But in any case, it doesn't matter because Aatrixor is starting off strong with the rocket lance, which is not a weapon we've seen a lot of today, in particular. But able to sort of string a lot of moves together in the air, looking to get a down air to probably sort of bounce pass into a Sare, but already built up lots and lots of damage super early on. And looking for the Orion signatures, looking to maybe get a dash in with that D-Sig, but not quite. That's Rosatz turn to get a side out with the bow, but not to follow up too much beyond that. Getting a nice down like there, true combo. Looking for maybe to reverse that potentially. I'm not sure if that would have hit if it went off stage, but I mean, it's unclear if Rosatz had the dodge was ready for it. Once it's now put off stage, throws up the D-Sig, but able to recover safely. But not able to get round the down signal thrown out, looking to punish it, but the neutral light is going to stuff out any attempts to get through. As just looking to find the stock, nearly gets the silent into recovery. Shout out to when that used to be a true combo with the perfect. That was the perfect spot dodge into the ground pound. Sort of option where when you see it like that, you wonder like why doesn't everybody in the game do that. It's sort of as a punish, especially to a sort of spear ground pound, which is a slow one and one that's sort of more difficult to just sort of reflexively head out. As Rosatz put off stage in a really tough spot, but does get the neutral air to come through and let them back on stage. Both players certainly being on stage. Very suspicious things going on over there. As Aatrixor really just been opening them super strong with the rocket lance of all things. Not at all how I thought this game was going to particularly start, but they've been showing that they certainly have got it, especially with the ground pounds. Well, ground pound not being a particularly easy ground pound to hit. It is fast, but it also means it puts you out of shapes almost every time if you miss. But I believe they're 2 for 2. I think them. I got the one on stage. Okay, 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. But in any case, Rosatz is able to find the Sare to sort of stop the Stampede a little bit and perhaps get some swings in this game as Aatrixor now moving over to the Sphere, looking for the Orion special. But unfortunately, Rosatz thinks that they have got the correct space in that, but unfortunately not quite, and sends it all with the ground pound, which very possibly might not have killed White. I think Aatrixor had most of the options at that point, but would have sent into no edge guard position. But I guess maybe that's sort of when you can make the claim. Maybe that was a bait. That was a bait interesting to try and threaten that they were in a bad position when actually they were particularly fine and able to get around it. As Aatrixor now up a whole stock. Was that looking to perhaps stack things up a bit with the bow? The neutral sig was ambitious there. Aatrixor staying high. Though I suppose with that kind of distance, it doesn't really matter either way what you want to throw out. You're just kind of waiting regardless, so might as well. As we now some spear versus spear gameplay, Rosatz able to cover their landing almost onto stage. They sort of throw their weapons off and get the connection, but not quite in position to pick up and actually get back on stage. You see a neutral signature come through on stage. That's a pretty straightforward punch for Rosatz, so not able to get a particularly big one. Sort of the standard option of a side sig is quite difficult to hit on Kaya, so you're looking at some different things. As we instead get a Nair. I think Rosatz is able to stabilize quite well actually. From being down a whole stock, they're probably down, I don't know, like half a stock. In the orange, and you know, with some decent bow neutral things like, but Aatrixor looking to send it with the rocket lance, get one of those patented anything into a Sare to put your opponent in a really bad spot, which is what rocket lance is super scary if it can get you in that position. In any case, we see Rosatz trying to approach with the downlights on the bow, staying at this sort of like full stage range is what you're kind of very much looking to do as the bow player, because you're kind of in downlight range and they're not kind of in range for anything. The rocket launch not having particularly big disjoints, though of course the D-Sig is a cover for that. But in any case, we're now trying to see if Aatrixor can find the knockout blow here, though. Rosatz staying quite elusive and staying just largely out of range in general. Definitely falling back and trying to get things stable. Looking to get a weapon toss confirm, though actually mixing up the tempo and going in with the haymaker, though not quite. And now we're in knockout percentage for Rosatz, so they now have to go in and be in Orion signature zone. But there's all nothing else to do. You can build as much damage as you like. The side sig punish was nice for that for the side stick there, but not going to show it. The recovery is nice, but very high ceiling, not leaning too much beyond that. And now Aatrixor are going in with the weapon staff here, looking to keep Rosatz in this final state, and able to call out, Rosatz's return back to the stage with the spear side air, and sending us into game number 2. The mythical Aatrixor will be sticking with the Orion, and we'll be having a Orion mirror match going on here. We have Rosatz making the switch to the quote-unquote Artemis that we saw earlier. Look, come on! Look at that skin. That's so. that really could be an Artemis skin. Like, I guess they cooked a little bit too hard on the battle pass. In any case, we now have ourselves a Orion. I believe this is the first mirror match we've had all day, actually. Interesting to see how Rosatz can perform with the Lance, doing well. Nearly got hit with the critical gimp, but actually gets the clash on Aatrixor's recovery there. Probably actually looking to suffer that entirely, but the clash is good either way, because you get the sort of downwards through the hitbox, and Aatrixor nearly able to snap back to the side there, but not quite. As Rosatz now takes a lead in this game number 2 with the Orion, with what it looked like Aatrixor was playing so strong as. So Rosatz says, well, actually, I've got it myself. And we've got neutral sticks of our own as well, as they call out the spot dodge with it. Gets the punish though on another dodge on the spear ground pound, and then into the turn ground pound punish. The neutral stick not quite going to snap over stage, so probably actually safe in that position to not put yourself off stage like that versus Rosatz. As we open up with sidelight, but Aatrixor goes high. The high options in general just being really difficult to punish or to really follow up on a spear sidelight. You really want those low options, but if your opponent to give it to you, then you sort of have to start guessing more. As Rosatz looking to secure the KO on Aatrixor's second stock. They've definitely stabilised a bit Aatrixor and take away the first one. So we're now even stocks. I think that Rocket Lance can get some strings. There's some sunlight dares to build damage to come through. Then if that sunlight wins the day off stage, but we have the ground pound coming through. Rosatz definitely representing the spear ground pound a lot more than Aatrixor is, which is something you just have to get used to. It's sort of not technically a good option, not really a bad option. It's just an option, and if you're willing to do it, then you are. If you're not willing to do it, then you're not. But you got to be ready for it. Because if you're not ready for that spear ground pound, it's super safe and it sends at a full ground pound is not a very brutal angle, but for moves in general, pretty brutal angle, and will secure KOs quite straightforwardly. As Rosatz approaching with the D-lights now, which not we've seen a lot of games. Lance D-light just being a pretty tricky move in general to hit. You have to be quite in tune with your opponent's movement to start having the gumption to back up. The D-stick over the corner very nearly comes through, but Aatrixor was just a smidge too slow. Looking to get the dodge through punish with the reverse recovery. Though Rosatz stays wide and is able to get around it, gets a neutral air to send Aatrixor wide, as the weapon toss is not able to interrupt Aatrixor's flow, as the neutral signature comes through and sends Rosatz off the top of the screen. Nearly gets the dodge in read to the sidelight. A solid dare off stage. Nearly gets a second dare off stage, but not quite. Rosatz looking to get just a regular little dare. Throws the weapon up and then picks it back up. And is able to go on stage. Aatrixor not playing up too much on that. Aatrixor is now disarmed from that last hit, but able to get a good punish on the stare through. But a nair is all you can really get with that kit. Looking to get a jump call up with that dare into Sair, but not quite. Rosatz staying low, as we are now actually really getting into this. This was a very Rosatz game, but this is now completely even. It's going to be next big hit wins. The neutral stick not quite from the ground. Not quite enough to do it. As Aatrixor now gets second nair, gets the nair, looking to get a second nair, but Rosatz stays high. Just looking to placing stage, just get back down the stage and looking to just get that one last neutral break. As the neutral signature sending into the big exclamation points, and sending Aatrixor off the top. So I believe the last two moves here in that game were both neutral signatures. One of them didn't KO, but the next one certainly will. As we go into game number 3, 1-0 scoreline. As we have a swap, I'm presuming that must be from Aatrixor going back to the Phantom Mirage, but most critically, this is what you have to do. If you're a multi-character specialist, You gotta not let your opponent get comfortable. And switching to the Queen Nai. Queen Nai, I believe, you know, opinions may vary, but I think in general being a really good character in the first game and a really bad character in game number 5. But if it's just a character that you can just pull out for the one game, get some funny ground pounds with the guitars off stage, and just really throw off your opponent's timing with the really funny signatures the Queen Nai has. Probably going to be seeing a lot of D-Sigs on guitars as well as neutral Sigs, maybe some spear ones as well. Then it could be really difficult to attack to if you're Aatrixor as the other player. But that's what you have to utilize if you have this large weapon pool. So you got a big bag of tricks. So bring on the tricks. Though actually, we've seen quite an honest start of this game after saying all that. What are we throwing out? Many, if any, Sigs at all. I was looking to build up. There's one. there's a particular Queen Nai classic. Though Aatrixor just sort of staying wide in that one, not pressing. Gets the captures to neutralite and nearly gets turnaround. Just kind of calling out Rosatz's habits. With both down signatures so far have been really at maximum range, like in the maximum of all ranges. Aatrixor calling out the weapon toss up. Nearly getting the crispy punish on the ground pound that they've been getting so successfully previously in the set. Whereas being in a basketball stage, I believe they did touch and they touch again, so they're able to get back on stage. The side signature perfectly punished with that air, which is much more difficult to do than it looks. You have to be able to predict that the down air is going to like send down, and you have the gravity to account for. Signature for signature, as both players just really getting their openings, but not to get their finishes. As Rosatz gets the much more sensible spear recovery and sending off the top and sending us into the second stops. As we're looking to extend the lead, the guitars is a pretty decent choice in order to do that. So we look to get a down air, but doesn't pull the trigger on any particular follow from that. Just looking to get that information and sort of store that in the back for when we next get the dare on stage. As the Scythe ground pound does have a more forgiving hitbox, especially when we release it, then it often seems sensible for it to. Check that one in the replay later, for that must have been the very extreme parts of that hitbox. But Aatrixor brings up a very low dare, puts Aatrixor in a terrible spot on stage, but they're able to touch. Rosatz looking to punish the DC, but gets the super quirky down. I've just never seen it drop like that one. Just picks up on a really obscure part of the hitbox. But Rosatz sits alright. Sort of resets neutral on stage. Once again, approaching, sort of threading with these down signatures. They're not necessarily sort of meant to hit, but it's kind of the sort of like when you're at kind of maximum range, you can just kind of throw them out. They either hit, and which is great, or they don't hit, and the opponent's too far away to get a punish. So it really is just free, which is the sort of tempo that you have to build as the sort of the Queen Nai here. Aatrixor going in for a Scythe engagement off stage, but not able to get too much on that. But it does find a pretty big ground pound off stage, but not able to punish any further as Rosatz goes low. As they find the dare off stage, looking to get the downlight to send probably the hard hitbox off stage. As well as looking to make their own stage. Aatrixor calls out the jump in. Maybe you're expecting down signature there to call out a dash onto stage, but actually goes for high option. Rosatz are predicting this time. It's how the sort of opposites works. Where like last time Aatrixor was staying put, so Rosatz going slightly to punish that, but then Aatrixor is now like another layer in, and now is approaching with down signatures to get the approach back onto stage. As you get the neutralite into recovery. Pulls out Aatrixor's recovery, but not quite able to catch stock there. Another neutralite to punish a spear D-light. It's been a bad day for throwing out spear D-lights. The ground pound, particularly ambitious off stage. Maybe they were looking for a dash ground pound rather than a dash D-sig, because Aatrixor would have had to try very hard to get hit by that. But in Venice, it's sort of the unconventional plays that can put, especially in sort of the more technical side players, into a bad spot, into like when they've missed that ground pound, it's like, oh hold on, where are we? What are we doing now? And that's when these sort of you can get some interesting options to secure the knockout. What was the deal said? Aatrixor once again is representing that Rosatz is willing to play that sort of half stage length quite a lot, especially when they're ahead. And just sort of wanting to stay over in the corner, which as a side player is where you want to be, because you got a lot of active input. You can kill a lot more moves over there, especially when you're facing them than most weapons can. As we see a nice sidelight coming through, Aatrixor are feeling pretty confident with the taunt. I mean, I think it's definitely doable, especially with the Scythe read to get the there, but Rosatz is able to fast fall down and not get caught up in the extended Scythe string. But Aatrixor going for the side ladder, but it's great damage to put up early on. Gets a double neutral sig. It's not a dodge read, so not able to get too much more beyond that. Calls out Rosatz's timing. Nearly gets the neutral sig. Rosatz able to dodge through. Another spear recovery attempted, but not able to get the punish for that one. The first neutral sig of the game is thrown out. Gets the very tail end of that. I think if they got the whole build up here from that could have been a direct knockout, but is not quite there yet. As we're now looking for a sort of finishing blows. It's definitely not in finishing blows for a ladder strike to go out, but a signature or just at a force on stage definitely could close out our game here. But we're going to need a couple more neutral wins from both players in order to really score things. A beautiful punish on that down signature there. Aatrixor actually showing that they do have the answer to when Rosatz is going for these quite ambitious, thinking that they're safe across the side stage to get the down signature there. Aatrixor is able to come in real quick. With that, nearly gets the neutral light recovery, which went in the game, but Aatrixor pulls him with their dodge, gets the weapon toss into the recovery, taunts, but unfortunately, not quite, but the signature, the down signature, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they were like 0 for 9 that game. Rosatz with the D6, but the 10th one, it came in when it counted, and is able to secure in a very tense game 3 situation, is able to secure the win for Rosatz as they go into game number 4. We once again have weapon swaps from both our legends. It's not quite the 10 legend bonanza that we had a couple of rounds ago, but it certainly is and it's very, very exciting to see. We're going back to the Orion, so I guess it's an opportunity to go. Aatrixor swapping over to the Mordex, which. With I believe I don't know what we're going to be coining this drip. It's like the anti-meta drip. I don't know what gauntlets they have, but if it's not red and it's not gloves, well, actually it won't matter. They won't actually need to throw fists at all. But unfortunately, Aatrixor gets the reversal, but it's not quite enough to come through. Aatrixor back on stage, Rosatz off stage with the lance, able to push back on with the Sair. Quite a gutsy option, but Aatrixor was perhaps waiting a little longer, so they're able to get away with it. Sends the Dare off stage, gets the fatal in the recovery, definitely dropping down, ready to call out the Scythe recovery, the Rocket Lance recovery, but able to just completely out of nowhere just predict that Rosatz was going to try and head low on the ledge. I mean, it's not an option that you really can cover very much. Aatrixor gets the extended slice change here, nearly gets the recovery to end off the stock. It wouldn't have killed, but it would have been a really bad spot. He gets the sidelight, doesn't even throw out a button afterwards, just looking for what their third follow-up's going to be. As they get the side thing with Rosatz low on options, not much they could have done to avoid that. As they get their stuff out of the recovery, and they get one more recoveries, all you get, but it's exhausted. As Aatrixor is waving goodbye to Rosatz, though it's not quite yet. Even if Aatrixor does win this game, we'll just send it into a game number 5, and they'll have another set to play, another game to play in order to try and win it. As Rosatz looking to get an Orion signature in order to secure this first stock of Aatrixor. Rosatz deciding to stay back. Which, I mean, it's pretty fair enough. With Aatrixor, it's been really fiendish on the other, but they do get a haymaker into Web state. Aatrixor low on options, but not quite a checkmate yet. But they might have made it one so. If we can just get anything to connect, a lot of various unarmed attack thrown out of stage there. Any one of them would have been brutal, but unfortunately unarmed is still a bad weapon. As I believe that was the snap onto the stage turnaround Sair. A rocket lance specialism, not one that's easy to hit, but one that can catch your opponent off guard, and in that position is super good to be able to secure a KO if they're on the glass. So we get Dare into another Dare, the neutral lights, but Rosatz stays wide. They got enough just enough to serve stage. Gets another instant boost Sair off the side of the stage, but not quite enough. Gets a set into a Dare, but they're out of options, so they decide not to send it any further off stage, which is pretty wise. The Sair onto stage, which worked so well in the first stock, did not quite cover this zone. Aatrixor stays high and is able to punish that. Gets a Dare into stage, double Dare, not quite, but does get the Sair to keep Rosatz touches, so they're fine. But they're still going to hit the sidelight, the neutral signature, not going enough to come through. The Dare setting on stage is a statement right there, saying that they're not done quite yet. Go with the dash jump ground pound, but Rosatz stays wide. Rosatz going with the dash jump ground pound, but the really high one, so just is able to see that one coming. As Rosatz is able to call out the ground pound timing with the left toss up, but not able to do much more than defend their position. As we go into the trying to get a recovery. Aatrixor is edging over very closely, going with a dash jump reverse set there to try and finish off the stock. That would have probably done it. We're going to neutral. We've not been seeing much actually gauntlets at all from Aatrixor game. It's almost entirely Scythe. See if these gauntlets can come in and get that single neutralite to send us into game number 5. Some Aatrixor being our most mysterious player of the day. This default skin Mordex is really out here with the level 23. Though, in any case, they've been sort of showing that they're able to really get like a particularly good read off stage, and able to really put the business on with the gauntlets. Actually, we haven't seen a lot of gauntlets in this last game. So see how Aatrixor can open up with these. He's got a pretty even start to our game number 1. Rosatz sending it with the ground pounds, but not quite. Aatrixor ready to push for that one and get the ground pound of their own. I think to put the bear move. I think Rosatz really just want to win this game, which I think is fair. I think it's fair. We are in winners finals, and they are definitely willing to send it, which is fair. Gets the dash into the recovery back onto stage. Very safe option, because you either get the good hitbox that sends onto stage, or you get the reverse hitbox like that, sending Aatrixor off stage. The ground pound is dodged through though. And Aatrixor gets a perfect ground pound of their own, with the dodge up into the instant side ground pound down, sending Rosatz right down the second stock. That one's gonna hurt, but I think Rosatz can just stabilize here, and when needed, just sort of like take the time back on stage. They'll definitely be able to like get this game even too quickly. Ambition just like off stage gets a nair. Then we go back to neutral, or sort of neutral-ish here. With no Rosatz on stage, gets the ground pound, the dash jump ground pound. Just trying to stay wide around that, which would work with pretty much any other ground pound in the game. But Axe is incredibly wide, and they must have hit the very edge of that diameter in order to get the ground pound. Let's get a dare in. Is Sunlight into a D-Light. A very obscure combo, only really works at low damages, but a good thing to keep in your back pocket, which of course you could do as the level 100 Organ play here. To get another Sunlight D-Light, backing up the damage quite well. Pretty even going, but just sent off stage. Rosatz goes low. Aatrixor tries to reload, but Rosatz goes even lower. Another ground pound comes through, but the Sunlight doesn't go through. A recovery onto the stage. Aatrixor is able to catch it. Another side light on stage, and a D-Light is going to confirm things. Like that was an exchange of Rosatz definitely not wanting to tarry around off stage to get on stage, and Aatrixor was just sort of ready to sort of stand around that corner and get the final blow. As we see Aatrixor go on stage, Rosatz looking to get a reversal with the rocket dance here, maybe another self stage, but Aatrixor staying high, just sort of camping out, sort of holding out on the stage, dodges through the nair, as Rosatz is able to get the side air to come through and disarm. Aatrixor is stunned, but picks up another scythe, and Rosatz is going to be looking for perhaps a Sare, maybe even a signature, or another ground pound off stage. You want to score things off stage, maybe weapon toss up, nearly gets reversal, but the dare is going to put them in a really bad spot. They didn't touch. The weapon toss is going to do it. One more option, gets through with the recovery. Super cool. So that would have been the end of the set. Had Aatrixor managed to kill the Exod, but Rosatz has got one more weapon to pick up. Doesn't want to actually. Premium bait coming through from Rosatz here, predicting that Aatrixor was going to think that Rosatz was going to pick up that weapon, and I don't know if thought anything, but nope, like baits them in to camping it and just gets the direct recovery, because that's all you need. Well, that kind of damage, a sidelight nair. It's going to be good damage. The nair stuffs out the aggressive options of Aatrixor. I think if these nairs can start coming through, that's really going to put a real dent in what Aatrixor's been trying here. As Rosatz gets a dare, comes through with a Sare, it overshoots, but that's fine. Gets slightly punished. The recovery on stage though is quite brutal. This is a tough spot to come back from. Another nair, a recovery comes through, but a dare into a ground pound. Aatrixor in a terrible spot, doesn't have the movement, and Rosatz in a clutch dare into ground pound, sending Aatrixor to the elimination bracket, into what will be, I believe, elimination finals. That ground pound meant a lot. And you got to respect it, especially in that game 4, to come back, to brush that off and put out confident plays of your own, especially in a tense game 5 situation. That's esports. That's esports right there.